First of all, let me just say that it's fantastic to have you both here. I think there's some really cool things that we could talk about when it comes to crypto and especially, Neo ecosystem. So thanks for joining. How are you both doing?
I
Something.
guess I can start. So, uh, it's doing great. Like first of all, thank you for having us. And as you said, like today actually we got the big news. Even though like we're not really voting, but I guess like the crypto people are very like
I
pay a
know
lot of attention to
the
what's
hype
happening.
is the hype is palpable. It's fantastic. Wake up to 7%, still pumping. Really nice. I gotta say, it's a really
Yes.
nice day.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a very good like signal to the market, and also in terms of like the following kind of get more back to the US market. Yeah, definitely a lot of things going to happen next year, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Thank you for having us as well here. Yeah, let's. I'm curious. I'm excited to dive, to some of the topics that you're gonna bring.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, obviously, the big elephant in the room is the election results, and it's really interesting to see that there was such a quick reaction in the market. People were expecting it. Like, a lot of people, I got a few friends like messaging me saying like, "Hey, if you put some money into Bitcoin now, like tomorrow, that's easy money. It's practically guaranteed." And then I see people on Twitter going like, taking screenshots of Polymarket with a post going like 84%, that Trump's going to win in certain states, and then people going and saying, "Oh, Polymarket is basically selling a dollar for 84 pence." It is really interesting to see how many people. I saw this one guy on Twitter that had put down 18 million on Polymarket on Trump, stood to make 29.6 million. Obviously, I think unless there's anything completely unexpected, but it doesn't look like it, he's effectively almost doubled his money within a very short time span. So it's really, because we haven't had this kind of like financial, like close tie in financially with elections before, with things like Polymer. Like, people are a lot more, like, they have more skin in the game in many ways than they used to in previous elections. So it's interesting to see how that plays out in crypto and blockchain.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I have like to say about this, very shortly. So it's prediction markets. I think I don't. I'm not a financial kind of guy. I'm more a computer scientist, a tech person.
Right.
But like I know that prediction markets are a financial instrument, some sort of. And it's a great use case for crypto. And I mean, like the other day, a friend of mine just came to me in a dinner and said, "Man, do you know this site like Polymarket?" And I say, "Man, this use crypto." So yeah, yeah, of course, so it's great to see like a wider adoption to this prediction markets, like using crypto, like using something that we built, even though it's a financial product, to not exactly gamble, but sort of, and is widely being adopted across TradeFi, across like all different areas. So yeah, I'm excited, even though it's sometimes we like the idealists don't aim to build this kind of products. It's great to
Right.
find like this.
No, it's great to see them. And I guess, if you look at it from the perspective of transparency, it's something like Polymarket. It's, you can open it up, you can look at it, you can see that it is transparent, you can see that the algorithm is verifiable. Whereas, slot machines, and I'm not saying, don't gamble, fine, if that way you like to do, if you enjoy gambling, like, go all out, but it is a lot more verifiable than other systems. And I do like that about it.
No, 100%. 100%
Yeah,
agree.
actually, I would like to echo on that. I think the blockchain technology or the crypto kind of help a lot about like the intuitivity, like the traceable and also verification, like because everything's like put on chain and like it's verified. And in comparing to like how do you say, we're always have those kind of political conspiracy, like saying like, oh, you're manipulating the votes and then you're doing something behind, and actually like you said, more transparent, like every on-chain data speak for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a proof of every event that has happened. There's a log there. You can verify. You can go back. Like, I would like to see, in an ideal world, I would like to see on chain voting system, in countries, because that's the only way to guarantee that something happened and it's unequivocally there and it can't be rolled back. For instance, I wasn't even aware, because I'm not super big on US politics, but they obviously make their way into Europe, so kind of everyone talks about them. I wasn't even aware up until recently that in many states you don't need an ID. You're not required an ID to vote in the US. And I'm
Well,
like, what the
yeah,
fuck, guys?
I had the same reaction, and yesterday I was in a call with Tyler. I'm gonna send some cheers to Tyler here. He's part of our ecosystem in Neo. He's like the CEO of CLZ, and like we were just having a conversation about like some other topics, technical topics, etc., about products. And then like I mentioned exactly this to him, man. You don't need a D. Can you tell me, because he's American? He lives in Colorado. Like,
Right.
can you tell me if it's true? And he said, well, kind of misleading, but actually, when I send my ballot there, I don't need to present any kind of ID. However, when they receive the ballot and open the ballot, like they verify if I'm eligible to vote or not. So, but in every different state, you have a different way of sending the ballot, like of providing ID or not. So it's kind of everywhere is different. But I was super impressed. Like then we were talking exactly like this, Andre. Man, technology is already there. You can have
You
voting
can.
like in a ledger, even if US or any kind of nation state who could fork or could even do their own chain and have attach IDs to like a digital twin in blockchain, and then when you go there and vote it with your physical, like let's say ID, would sign something on chain. So the technology is there. It's just more about, I think, like education and making everyone comfortable with this technology, because you have like to go so many layers until you reach the decision makers, and convince
100%.
everyone that like this technology is valid, nobody can manipulate. You guys have the freedom to develop on it. So man, there's a lot of effort, but eventually we're gonna get there.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it also takes a government wanting to work in good faith with the latest technologies. Unless there's a government that has an agenda that has anything to hide, that's obviously going to make it more difficult to adopt. But if there is, good faith adoption of technology and transparency and like good values, then I think it's only a matter of time. It's been proven that it's actually one of the ideal technologies for that. Like a ledger, it's one of the best ways that you can preserve, the quality of that voting system.
Yeah.
Um,
But
so
let me just add something here. So I'm these days, we can explore this later, but like these days, I'm super also into researching a bit full homomorphic encryption. And
Mhm.
like this technology gives some sort of uh, more tooling to also voting. I'm gonna give you like a very simple example. Sometimes people ask me, okay, Gil, I'm gonna sign something and I'm gonna vote on in a DAO on chain, but actually everyone is gonna see what I voted, when I voted, like, and then this can bias other people until the last moment where the voting closes. So like how can we change that? We're gonna have like we have to go to ledgers which has some sort of privacy in the core layer? And my answer to this is no. If you use, because technology is already there, you can use full homomorphic encryption where you can have confidential parts of a smart contract. Uh, you can say, look, the vote, what you vote, it will not be transparent until the voting closes. So this solves this kind of transparent this how can I say this problem of people getting biased and in a transparent like open ledger. So yeah, once again, technology is there. It's just making people comfortable to it.
100%. And I think that there's different ways of you can achieve. You could achieve it with fully homomorphic encryption. You could achieve it with, if you look at other ecosystems, like what Solana is doing with token extensions, you can get private transfers in Solana. You could even bring back the OG Monero, right? Like not a lot of people talk about Monero nowadays, but like that was like the OG privacy coin. And I, for one, was quite disappointed to see that it got delisted on Binance, because like it stands for everything that crypto used to stand for, plus the added privacy. It's
100%.
it's a layer that I think is definitely needed, and it's good to see it come back. It's good to see Solana adding the token extensions. It's good to see fully homomorphic encryption being added. I was just talking to a project like the other week that they've implemented. They're working to implement fully homomorphic encryption. It was the guys that are building a decentralized AI computing network, Lilypad. So
Okay.
they're
No.
working with Zama,
Oh yeah.
and Zama's helping them out kind of integrate fully homomorphic encryption. And I think the only when I remember that discussion, the only challenge or the main challenge was the fact that it's very computationally heavy when you compare it like plain text computation, because you have to work with the encrypted data and apply computation on that. I still
Yep.
think it's bloody magic. That the fact
No,
that
it's magic.
you don't decrypt it. And it does seem like it's getting lighter and faster in time.
Yeah. 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 I think like Songping also here. I try to bring this topic of polymorphic encryption and this new technology so many times, and I feel that people like me, it's needed out there because you have like to keep saying things over and over again, and then making people, okay, oh, this is possible, but yeah, this is like kind of black magic. So how does it work? Can you explain once? You explain twice? You explain three times? And then, like, but it's okay. It's good to see also other projects collaborating with someone. Yeah.
I think once you get it, you get it. It's like I remember the first time I understood like async and await in programming, and like you could explain it to me 50 times. I was like, oh yeah, you await this function, but no, I don't get it. How does it? And then it clicks, but it has to click in your own head. I feel like it's the understanding that you have to bring upon yourself to kind of really grasp that concept.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're obviously both passionate about the Neo blockchain. Um, do you want to give a high level overview, either of you, about what are the unique selling points of Neo, and maybe a brief history of how the chain got created in the first place?
Sure.
Songping or
Yeah, I think I can start. So, as you may know, Neo is a very old, like long-term player in this industry. We have been around like ever since 2014. So, I think like the long-term like track record has been a good legacy for us, and like we've been building up the brand reputation. So,
Hmm.
in terms of like the uniqueness, I think we've been doing a lot of technical wise like innovation. So we were the first like non-EVM smart contract platform, and we're the first kind of apply the dual token economy, and also we're bringing like this all-in-one kind of development toolkit. And I think like what we've been the other point we've been doing trying really hard is to provide like the developer friendliness. So I think as the first like non-EVM kind of
Hmm.
virtual machine, so we actually enable like those more mainstream kind of Web2 developers with access to the blockchain world. So if you're using like Python, Java, C Sharp, like you can actually just use the languages you're familiar with and kind of start to develop like smart contract on the protocol. And meanwhile, like we probably gonna mention this later. So to add on it, we have launched a sidechain which is EVM compatible and MEV resistance. It's called NeoX. So this is doubling down our like efforts on bringing or break down the like barriers to the mass adoption. So on top of like Web2 developer kind of friendliness, where basically provide like the Solidity developers also the same kind of easiness to the Neo ecosystem. Yeah.
yes, I'm gonna add something here to what something said, or maybe highlight because I think this is pretty important. So I've been working with Neo since I think 2000, beginning in 2018. Like I
Right.
got like 2017, but like 18 was when I started contributing. And so just maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, someone from the team came to me, Gil, we were the first non-EVM chains to enable smart contracts. And they say, what? I didn't know. We have to explore more of this. So, but why this is important? Because it's not because look what I've done and we're important kind of thing. It's just because we learned so much over the years with things that we roll out to Neo, etc. And I think I feel that sometimes we see other chains, Andre, like for example, Algorand. I'm not going to bash any chain here because I'm an aggregator. I like
Right.
to work as a team, you know. But for example, Algorand, like Algorand, just is investing a lot in Python smart contracts. You can write smart contracts using Python or other languages, and we've done this, and we learned that besides having enabling all these programming languages for developers to write their smart contracts, we have to go one step further. We have to embrace also Solidity developers. We have to go to other parts, which maybe the non-EVM chains, they didn't realize that. But I mean, we are so long in the market, we're so long in this game, then it's saying, man, we have to keep going. We don't have just to focus on like bringing Web 2 guys to Web 3, but we have like also to embrace Web 3 and create this ecosystem. So I think that's I just want to highlight this because sometimes they say, oh, we were one of the first guys that did this, but it's not only about history; it's about what you learn on the way.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, Algorand, such a throwback because I remember back in 2020, 2021, when the cryptocurrency subreddit was in love with Algorand. Like everyone was just talking about how great of a project it is. And I think on paper it looked and it sounded really good. And I'm not sure if you've seen the video, but Gary Gensler was shilling Algorand at some point when he was like a professor at some kind of university. He was talking about his mate who's developed this system, which is Algorand, and then he became the head of the SEC and like switched 180 degrees, which was really interesting to see. But yeah, since then, it feels like there's no more discussion of Algorand in the community. I think it even dropped out of like top 50 or top 100 by market cap. So it's shrinking, and I haven't really been following it along. If you know why it hasn't worked out, that'd be really interesting to know.
No, I think like no point in fears is I just highlighting like that in the crypto space sometimes I feel, at least for me, that we have like to learn with others what the guy has done and what is the strength of projects, and then like you have to adapt or collaborate with others. And I think like at the moment for in the new ecosystem we realize, okay, we've done something great in the non-EVM space. Like we were in the first, we tried to be developer friendly. We tried, and I mean, of course, at some stages we were successful in some projects, onboarding people, etc. But nothing compares to like the magnitude of EVM and Ethereum community. We have to recognize this. We have to be humble on recognizing that. So yeah, I think that's the highlight that I wanted to give. And now we are also going towards a NeoX, which is our EVM side chain, besides our non-EVM chain. So we have like both
Right.
kind of coexisting, in the same ecosystem.
Right. And before we get into that, Songping, I had a question because you mentioned that you're able as a developer, you're able to write in different languages. You said you've got Python, Java based like Kotlin, and a couple of others. How does that work? Like how do you interpret the different languages, and how does it work under the hood? If you want to give a brief overview of that.
The simple answer will be like through the NeoVM. But when it comes to the details, I think Guil can do a better job than I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
no stress.
Just a very short here. Like basically, our members of our community, we wrote compilers. Like so, it means that you can write Java, Python, like C#, Kotlin, etc. You can write like in these smart contracts in these languages, and then you can use specific software for each of these languages developed by in our ecosystem to translate this to our NeoVM. So it's basically a compiler. We have like different compiler
Right.
for different programming languages, and then basically everything runs in NeoVM, which is a non-EVM, but it is really powerful because we have some built-in features in NeoVM that others out there don't have it. So
Right.
that's
So this
basically the
compiler,
overview. Yeah.
so this compiler, is it present in all the nodes, or maybe you have nodes that are using, are compiling C# and nodes that are compiling Python and etc. Or is it just any node can compile any code?
Yeah, so basically, the compilation, this process of translating source language of Java or Python to new VM is it happens on developer's machine. So like
Right.
this in the developer, when you're coding your smart contract, you just it's like Solidity. You have the Solidity compiler, the Solk they call, to convert from Solidity to EVM. So it happens the same with us. We have a specific tooling, one compiler
Right.
called Neo3j for Java, another compiler called NeoBoa for Python, and in others. That in developer's machine you can generate these smart contracts, and then once you have like this file, like compatible with Neo, which represents your smart contract, you just deploy in any kind of node, using any kind of node in our network. So
Right.
the nodes in our network, they execute Neo VM, Neo virtual machine, which is a
Hmm.
specific virtual machine for Neo. Yeah,
And is that the name of the language that it compiles down to?
yeah.
Is
It's
NeoVM that? Okay.
Neo VM, yeah, Neo like virtual machine. Yeah,
Right. So it's a language that you guys have created from scratch to deal with this. That's really fascinating. That's very interesting. Yeah. So in a sense, it works like, well, if I was to translate this into Web 2 terms, you're writing in TypeScript, but your IDE compiles it to JavaScript at runtime.
exactly. Yeah, sort
That's
of.
very cool. That's very cool. So um, I noticed that you're primarily focused on Java and Kotlin. I'm guessing the other languages got introduced later. Is that safe to say?
No, actually, the Neo ecosystem started with C sharp
I see.
back in
Okay.
the days, C sharp, and then after some time, other people interested on building compilers just join our ecosystem. For example, Python is pretty strong. Uh, Java also. Golang
Hmm.
is really strong in our community as well. And yeah, so uh, I mean, all these languages were not there at start, like in 2015, 16, but they 15, but they appeared over the years. In Right now, the maturity level of these compilers and these languages, I would say that is high. I think we have there are multiple there are stable coins written that have written their smart contract in Java, for example, or DeFi protocols that are written in C sharp. So I think it's is something stable and used.
Here, I
Right.
actually would like to add, like just like what Gil described is perfect, and but it actually also reflect actually one uniqueness of the Neo community. So we are the like I think real community driven protocol because we actually have like Gil mentioned all those different like developed communities like scattered all over the world. And like Gil, he's based in Switzerland, and his team, like XLab, is got sponsored from Neo Foundation, and they like kind of get the funding, and they got enough like how to say talent to work on like more Neo 3J kind of this like languages they are more into, and developing the compilers or like related toolings for it. And
I
meanwhile,
think we
we
may have
also
lost you there for a second, Songping. I'm not sure if you can hear her.
Can you hear
Oh,
me now?
Yes,
yeah.
here.
Yeah, I
Now,
hear you
yes.
back.
Okay. So just mention like we got all those different like sponsored developer communities, and we also have actually a very, I think a very talented team based in US, like COZ. So they are more working on like Python and. I think it's Python, right, Gil? So like
Yes.
this team is more focused on the Python kind of school kind of toolings, and so there are multiple like similar kind of this type of teams, like developer teams. So they kind of like doing their own, but all putting together and foster like the new system, like new ecosystem in altogether.
Hmm.
So that's really interesting because you've mentioned you have this team that's based in the US, and quite a few times when I talk to a project, they go like, "Oh, we don't really touch the US, like 1 inch. No, we don't want to be there. We don't want to go." So it's interesting to see that you guys have a team that works in the US. What is the connection between that team and your product in Neo?
So it's not like they are not like a full-time employee of like Neo. They're like more sponsored kind of communities. So they've been put forward the proposals and saying like what kind of what certain area of like development they want to focus on, what kind of products they want to work on. So we give them the funding or other supports they need, and they kind of doing the things. So in the end, it's all those like this product here, those like efforts there, and all combined together. Like we do want to, how to say, encourage like the community style kind of development instead of just more centralized and saying like ABC company style. So we do encourage more community, yeah, driven.
Yeah, I've seen this. I think this is it's obviously a recurring theme or recurring practice in crypto and Web3 to kind of act as a foundation and to source and to fund different projects around. Is that normally a mutually beneficial relationship? Are there any risks, or is it more efficient than working in house? Like, how does that dynamic work usually?
I think I can like share my thoughts first, and Gil can always like add
Yeah.
as a because he's actually a founder for like one of the developer communities. So from my side, because I work for NGD, so Neo Global Development, that's the execution arm of Neo Foundation. So we're taking care more about like marketing, business development, and like the maintenance of the like the protocol, including some like operation wise. So from our side, of course, like normally like an in-house practice will be more efficient because you kind of all stay in one room or like at least in one time zone. You kind of communicate fast, and but I actually appreciate like the community style. Like when it was always a very pressure time to contact or to talk to Guil in Switzerland, talk to like our team, kind of another communities that are based in US, despite of the time zone challenges. Yeah, that's why I say I'm familiar with this 10 p.m. concourse. And I feel like it actually, because the communities, they all have their like expertise. So they are like technical kind of experts in their own field, and that's their passion, like that's their interest lies. So that's what they do most efficient, and also like they keep the, how to say, possibilities open. So like you mentioned, he has interest in FHE, and in our like in-house or like in NGD, we may not have such talent, and it may not come to our mind at all. But only when like some community members mention like, oh, FHE is very interesting, we should like spend some efforts, invest some resource to do some research, and kind of sharing the research results throughout the community, and we kind of sharing or provide the feedback altogether, and saying, oh, there's like a value in it and we should spend more, or we should like dig deeper. I think that's how like the interesting ideas kind of show up. So I actually feel like there's a balance. So for marketing or for like BD, a more centralized way will be efficient. But like for
Mm-hmm.
development, especially we want to like open, like makes the possibilities open, like makes the different directions open. I do feel like the community way works as well.
Yeah, I agree with what Songping said. Let me add another angle here, which is the angle of let's say self-policing. What it means by that? It means that maybe if X Labs develops something to the whole ecosystem, to the new ecosystem, there are other entities kind of independent, like for example COZ in the US, or let's say someone in Spain or Germany. So these guys are going to look to our implementation and see, oh, guys, what about if you do it a bit differently? What about if you just add more security layers to it? So because then it then becomes an environment where uh, everyone is working to on, let's say, to boost the Neo ecosystem and not as a single company, which brings this entities brings passion to the game, brings telling others how they can enhance their products, and I think that this is beneficial for everyone. So it's a big family, I would say. It's like an ecosystem, a big family, and I mean, this pays off. For example, when we develop very critical piece of software, for example, like a
Mm-hmm.
bridge. We develop a bridge. Man, a bridge is really complex, really difficult. You have to be very security focused. And if just one entity develop it and just hire some auditors, this is one way of doing. It's okay, but it's one way. But what about if you have like multiple entities across giving opinions, participating in meetings, like maybe reviewing the code? I think it's more robust. It takes more time for sure. It takes way more long. It takes longer, but that's the price we pay for this trade off.
So I'm also interested what the relationship is when it comes to, pitching an idea and then project managing and bringing the idea to the end. Like, would it be, Gil, would it be up to you to project manage and like ensure that everything stays on scope? Does Neo have any input? Do you have like any touch points with the Neo team? Or do you go like, okay, we're on track. Okay, take it off, move to the next thing, and so on? Like, I'm interested from the perspective of someone, let's say, that wants to build on Neo and would like to understand how that works, or for any foundation in general.
Yeah. So with us, I mean, this. Okay, let me try to just start the topic, and then Songping can add something on that. So for these communities which are sponsored by Neo, usually the ideas come either from us, they sponsored, and then we try to bring to Neo or to the foundation or to NGD and work with them to see, oh, this is good. This is a direction that we're going. We're going to the same direction, yes or no? And then if the answer is yes, then we can, let's say, bring this project to the broader ecosystem and then like further develop it. And then like each of these communities will be the responsible of managing and building the product and showcasing it, putting forward demos, etc. So this is like one of the points. Of course, we need to write proposals. We need to, it's not a process. Here's an idea, and here's like you're a sponsor. It's not like this. But you need to write a proposal. You need some formalities, etc. But sometimes we are aligned on the vision, and sometimes not. Sometimes like our ideas get let's say get killed, and this is totally normal and fine. But most of the time we are aligned because we as an ecosystem we know where we're going. So this is one angle. Like then there's other angles of funding and the grants and etc., which maybe something can tell a bit more about it.
Yeah, when we talk about projects, we actually kind of divided into two different types in our ecosystem. So as Gail just mentioned, like the sponsored developed communities, what they've been doing is more long term, like and more like nonprofit driven. So it's more related to the like toolings and more protocol level kind of development. So that's like how do you say, Neo Foundation is highly sponsoring it and also give more flexibility and also authority for the like communities to to come up the proposal, come up their own kind of milestones, deliverables, and Neo Foundation will have someone, of course, to have the regular communication and also the progress checking with them and make sure they get all the resource they need. And the other type of project we're talking about here is more like ecosystem projects. So DeFi projects, NFT projects, or RWA, like those, they are profit driven. Or at least they are like strategic kind of projects are seeking like users assets. So this are more like what being is more lied to the support from the NGD, like the entity I'm
Mm-hmm.
work for. So we do have like eco growth team, like more BD type like a team. So working with those projects. So we also like receive kind of proposals from them, like, or sometimes my colleagues kind of approach them progressively and talking about like specific kind of projects that we think they should build on Neo or on NeoX. So then we comes to with like either financially like support grants or like marketing support or like community kind of helps them to get see the users, etc. So we're always trying to help them to succeed and set root in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's very clear. So thanks both for explaining, because I always wonder what the relationship between the foundation and the project is and how it kind of works. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to Neo 3J, I think, I mean, the benefits are clear, right, from both sides, because you're basically you're building like um you're building a tool to simplify the development of Neo projects, which makes it, obviously easier for adoption and growth. So you can definitely see the implications of something like that.
Yeah, it's a kind of it's kind of like in our case, in X Labs case, it's as Songping said. For example, Meow3j is a Java compiler, Java SDK, which is a public good. We call a public good.
Right.
So it's like something that it's a tooling, it's infrastructure. It's gonna serve everyone. It's like building asphalt on the streets. So we'll just put asphalt there. Like it's we're gonna do all the pavement that people can go with their cars, and don't like ensure the quality of the streets, and yeah, that's the sponsor. But also the projects that want to build, which are non like profit for profit, let's put this way, different projects or NFTs or whatever. They have different ways how they can apply. For
Hmm.
example, they have some programs run by, let's say, the foundation or the NGD, with some budget dedicated to it. But also we have a DAO, like in this case, it's called Grant Shares. A Grant Shares is a
Okay.
DAO from the community that there's a treasury, and then people like, let's say, grassroots projects searching for smaller amounts just to bootstrap something can go there, make a proposal to the DAO, and then after a period of discussion they get funding. So like, I mean, this is for projects is smaller amounts like 5k, 10k, 15k, like 20 max, some sort of like this. And this run by the community, meaning that NGD or Neo Foundation are not the sole decision makers in there.
Right. So in a sense, like a small kind of version of the DAO back in a day, but with, yeah,
Exactly, exactly.
that's cool. That's a cool idea. I like that. I feel like, oh, it's always nice letting the community kind of decide what to fund, and it also makes it fun, especially if there's not too much risk or too much incentive to exploit the system. That's also, good to have for sure.
Yes.
So when it comes to NeoX, because you're mentioning that you've recently launched that, and congratulations, I think that's fantastic. I wanted to explore the interoperability of NeoX and Neo. Do the two networks talk to each other, or if not, is there a plan? And if yes, how does that kind of relationship work?
Yeah, Great question. I'm gonna take this one. Something. Great question, actually, because we have like a so-called native bridge. So because a lot of people ask us, Gil, look, you interoperability is important. How can I get like assets? Especially because we're not minting any kind of token in NeoX. So all the tokens like gas and Neo will will the generation of gas, for example, and the new token will stay in the main, let's say in Neo and three. So we're not minting anything new on NeoX. So that's why having this layer, this native bridge is important. So it's already operative on mainnet. We already have this native bridge. It's developed partially by XLabs team in collaboration, of course, to NGD in other entities in USPCC. And so basically, right now you can bridge gas from Neo and 3 and in NeoX. We are rolling out basically today new features to the bridge, which is bridging any ERC20 tokens or NAP17 tokens. That of course the tokens have to be whitelisted there. Like audited, etc. But we're rolling out this feature. So yeah, in the future, I think we're gonna like add more interoperability factors to the native bridge, maybe NFTs, or let's say arbitrary data messages. Maybe, for example, if you want to invoke a smart contract in NeoX, but from Neo and 3, with a new and 3 wallet, you can invoke uh, by interacting with our bridge. So, I mean, this kind of features, it's in our roadmap. I cannot make promises on this stage. Otherwise, it's gonna put like my like my team in under so much pressure. But it's coming. It's coming, and I think like why call a native bridge? Because we had to change a bit on NeoX the let's say the node to have this bridge in the core, like as a precompiled smart contracts. So it's really this bridge is really inherent and embedded to both chains. And yeah, it's gonna stay there for some time, and it's gonna be maintained in the long term by our ecosystem.
Yeah. Just to add it really quick, I think Gil did a very great job like explaining in depth like how it works. I think just high level, like what we'll be doing is like definitely a multi-chain strategy. So like the existing N3 chain as our main chain, and we already have a lot of assets and projects kind of landing on it. And with NeoX, it's a new kind of EVM compatible sidechain. And later on, I mean, the NeoX N3, they will be connected, a native bridge. And meanwhile, later on, we will bridge NeoX with other like other EVM chains. And so NeoX serves as a gateway, like between Neo ecosystem to the bigger kind of EVM kind of words. So in the end, the assets will all like float freely, and but all those different chains will be more like, how do you say, have their own kind of more unique tech stack. So later on, I think in our founders kind of uh, idea sharing, he's foresee probably like now is EVM based. Later on, maybe Watson or other like VM, like there may be other like, how to say, tech stack can be their own chain. But in the end, the assets will all kind of flow freely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the ultimate ideal there. Just having an interconnected Web3 that you don't really spend that much as a user. You don't really spend that much time and effort trying to figure out which chain you're on and how do I bridge and how do I, like, you just want it to work. And it does seem like it's moving in that direction. I wanted to go back to the idea of the native bridge that you mentioned. So does that work in the way that a traditional bridge works, as in I have this token on this chain and then I put it in this contract and it gets locked or burnt and then it gets released in the other chain? Or is it more like the IBC protocol that we see in Cosmos, like Cosmos using?
Yeah. So it's more in the traditional way, in the sense that this is, how can I say, we have like a set of validators, we have a set of real layers, and then you just lock the assets in one chain and then release in other, and then goes. The difference is that the contracts, the treasuries where this is, the tokens are locked, they the owner are the validators of the chain. So it means that the validators, and like who validate the blocks, and who make governance decisions on the chains, are the ones that have, let's say, that have the capability not to release more assets or not, but to adjust like some parameters, like for example, increasing the fees or decreasing the fees of the bridge, or maybe pausing the bridge, or more like adding or removing or changing how the some aspects on the bridge they work. But the basic rules of the native, they cannot be, they cannot be changed easily because it's native. It's, we, like when we release a piece of software, a node, let's say, the binary of the node, we embedded some precompiled smart contracts there that it's native. You just have to run the node, and the bridge address will always be there with the same rules, etc. So yeah, answer your question. It's more the traditional way at the moment, but yeah, we're kind of open because we had to keep the ball rolling. We have to uh, get a solution, a bridge solution that is safe, that can be developed in a timely manner, that of getting, bridging both chains, like the NeoN3 and the NeoX. So that's why we chose to go to this direction, and right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thanks for that. So you both mentioned NFTs a couple times, and I just wanted to get your idea of not NFTs as a technology, because it's undeniable there's many use cases there, but NFTs in the art world and art and collectibles. How much movement do you see of NFTs still, and do you reckon there's still a market there? Because from what I'm seeing and from what I've seen other people, it seems like, man, they've crashed so much. Like they've gone down 94%. And on average, the average NFT owner is down 44%. So if you were to put a hamster on a wheel trading random, meme coins, they'd be making probably more money than the average NFT holder. So with that in mind, I just wanted to get your guys' idea or your guys' focus on that segment of the crypto market, and if you think it can ever recover.
I think I can take this one first. So, so I'm actually like how do you say, I'm a more like how to say, not um investor or like trader for NFT type holder. I'm a more like, oh, I like this culture. I purely want to spend money and to like reward this
I see.
artist type. So I personally cherish the value of this art, like this piece of art, and it's okay for me, like as long as it's a reasonable price. And of course, I won't like afford a lot for one like profile like picture. But I do feel like if I really like the community spirit resonate, and I am willing just to spend it as a consuming kind of behavior. But um, on the other side, I actually feel like there is like a use case, or like instead of just pure investment kind of value of NFT. I mean, in our community, there is actually this NFI kind of technology. So we call it non-fungible item. It's a very interesting experiment. Like So what's happening is basically we're doing this how do you say activation? So it's a physical item,
It's that,
but it,
the ring that you're showing.
yes, I personally feel it's a very interesting like experimental bridging the digital and the physical words. So what happening is
I thought
like
you were gonna go invisible there for a second when you put it
Yeah.
on. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like,
Uh,
I need to show off the ring. Um, so I do feel like the NFT is somehow your digital identity. So it's your proof of certain kind of community belonging or something. And when we have of course you need to add on other technology, example like NFC or like encryptions, like you kind of need to all work together. And it can achieve like, for example, the key for a hotel or like a ring, like ownership, like how to say authorization kind of purpose in the real world, uh, real life. Yes. So I think later on, like there will be like innovation in terms
mhm.
of like the NFT or NFT related technology. Because I mean, it's non-fungible items, so like it must be something it can help, and we probably know the answer, but we don't really know which problem they're gonna solve.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think so well, I hope that the market recovers, and I hope I really, because I have some NFTs, and also I really hope that they're going to recover. But the point here is, I'm going to resonate what Songping was said. I think the utility of the NFTs, binding to items, as it happens in one of the projects in a new ecosystem called item systems. So these guys like gave a different angle in binding NFTs kind of to physical items, and then the fusion of both are what we call a non-fungible item. NFI. So I think like giving a bit more utility. That's where the comeback of what I call NFTs will happen. Yeah, and I'm just holding here like one of the rings that this project distributed in Neo booth in Token 2049, and also there was another thing called Block Spirits game, which is basically a card that you could tap scan in your mobile phone, and then you could challenge another player and then play a game based on a physical object that it's basically your identity, and then the game happens on chain, a smart contract, etc. So this kind of utility, I think it will be the comeback of NFTs in the future, and probably, yeah, hopefully the price is going to go up.
Right. So what is that? What does the ring do currently?
Oh yeah, the ring can you can tap in point of sales, like for example in conferences, like if Neo does an activation in the booth, let's say in consensus conference or token 49. So if you bring your ring, and you're going to have like the point of sale there, you can just come with your ring, tap scan, and then maybe you're going to get some points, or you're going to get some perks. You can gamify the experience because you're going to prove cryptographically, because this ring is able to sign something. So like when you tap scan, this ring signs something, like a challenge, let's put it this way, and then you can prove, oh, I'm a physical owner of something that was distributed, I don't know, in a previous conference, and now I'm coming back. Can you give me some swag, for example, or can you give me a free beer? You can gamify the experience, and give some utility using physical objects. I think that's the cool part of it.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some utility there. So there's definitely, and I do feel like in gaming that there's going to be a lot more utility. You could do some really amazing thing with NFTs in gaming. You could create tokens for items that are tradable in other games. You can create standardized items that you can create interconnected worlds. Like there's so much that can still be built on there, and it's fantastic to see. I do hope for the sake of your bag, Guil, that NFTs are gonna be making a comeback.
Exactly.
I happened to work in art during the time where the NFT boom took place, and I've seen like every other gallery around, and big auction houses like Christie's. They launched their NFT Web3 platform, and the hype was mental. It was crazy, and it just feels like we've fallen to a substantial amount from those heights. But hey, you never know. This market's irrational and unpredictable
Yeah,
for a reason.
absolutely, absolutely. Let's see what happens.
Exactly. Let's see. I'm just crossing my fingers behind my back now. So, what do you guys have in store for the future? Any cool releases that you want to tease, and anything that people might want to know about?
I have some points or something. Like, should I go first, or you want to jump in?
Probably we're talking about the same thing. I can just
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's actually a thing ongoing. So Neo is doing the grind hackathon. So
Yes.
yeah, we've been doing
Love the
this
name.
we've been doing this like for a long time. Like this is the 4th year in a row. So like as I said at the very beginning, Neo has a very good habit being friendly to developer. So we're always doing hackathons and trying to provide the easy access for those like people who are new in in this industry, who want to test their business ideas. And so the uniqueness of this time is we are actually teaming up with several major like industry players. So include IOSG, Foresight Venture, Gate, and also Web3 Labs. So they are the 4 like important co-hosts for the hackathon this time. So
Did you
what
say
we
Bill Gates?
yes, interesting, right?
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't that guy hate crypto like a few years ago?
No, no,
Or
no,
did I get that wrong? Wasn't he like anti
no,
crypto
no, no.
at some point?
I'm talking about the
Oh.
exchange, Gate.
Oh
Big
Jesus
cake.
Christ! Okay. I
No, no,
thought you said Bill Gates, and I'm like,
no,
that guy's
no, no,
like
no,
anti.
no.
No, 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 no.
Right.
That
Okay.
would make
Bitgate. Okay.
headlines
Got you.
tomorrow.
Got you. Okay. That makes sense now.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
for
yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah. So what we've been doing is basically we team up with incubator, accelerator, venture capital, and exchanges. So we as a layer 1 protocol. So basically what we've been covering is all those important kind of touch points for
Mm-hmm.
startups, like during the from zero to like getting listed. So it almost covers every major kind of milestone for the growth of a project. So what we are offering is basically a more direct access like for those projects. So we want to make sure they have the proper kind of connections and also the proper resource they want, like to foster them, to help them to succeed. So as the kind of how to say rewards for the hackathon winners, so they get chance to aside of the hackathon kind of prize, they also get
Mm-hmm.
chance to talk to all those like important partners directly and get access to their kind of grants program. And for Bit Gates, the exchange, they also got chance to enter their fast track to be listed. Yeah.
So it's a physical hackathon.
No, it's not actually.
It's online. Okay.
Yeah. It's a virtual hackathon, but we will have like physical kind of events to promote it. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's very cool. Love a hackathon. When's it gonna take place, and where can people register?
It actually started like last week. So with the
Okay.
submission deadline will be 2nd of December. So
Right.
for people who are interested, they can visit the Hackathon website. It's grind.neo.org.
Just that's a brilliant subdomain name.
Yes, grind is good. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
have anything to add, Gil?
Yes, absolutely, man. The hackathon is a big thing, of course, But actually, I have like some points here about NeoX and where we're going. Actually, we are trying very hard to uh, release a big feature that very few other chains are working right now on. And I mean, I think like nobody, I think Neo is one of the first working on this, which is we will roll out anti-MEV resistance. So basically, there's a lot of like the majority of EVM chains out there. You have like DeFi protocols like Uniswap and others, but there are a lot of MEV bots taking advantage of
Mm-hmm.
users, extracting value. In most problematic is that users don't know about it. They're like you just go and do a swap, and then when you see, yeah, where my money, there was a lot of a gap, and that's because of MEV and the collusion of bad actors, let's say. So we've thought about this problem for a long time, and we decided, okay, we have to solve it. And basically, we're rolling out this feature of MEV resistance in NeoX EVM sidechain. Basically, I'm not going to go into details here, Andre, but we're going to have like two main pools, one which is an encrypted main pool, another one which is encrypted main pool, and the transactions will only be revealed once the block is final. So I think this is really good for to attract DeFi projects and also gains to our chain, because one of our goals with NeoX is to become a fairer chain. So where you can get more, like it's just about everything about being fair with our users. And I think like this feature plays a central role on that. We're pretty excited. We're pretty excited. Our team worked a lot on that, and it will be rolled out in quarter 4 this year. So we stay tuned. And this is, I mean, the projects that are building DeFi things in Hackathon will certainly benefit, with this feature in the future that we're going to roll out. So this is one of the biggest things that are coming up next in quarter 4 for us.
That's fantastic. You know, I always thought that the reason that MEV happens is because obviously the nodes have access to the mempool, and then they can pick and choose which transactions to front run or to take from the mempool. And then, I always thought, why can't we have some kind of system, as, if you think about it as a relational database or a regular database, where you can have a lock on something and something doesn't happen until another user, like you could sequentially do this without allowing mempool participants to pick and choose.
Yeah, no, I think like your line of thinking is right. So, but what the technique that we've done is, okay, it's all about providing options to our users, Andre. Like if you don't want to use this anti-MEV resistance, you can still submit your transaction, to unencrypted mempool, pay less fees. It will be very cheap. It is very cheap in NeoX to submit transactions. But if you want a bit more safety, a bit more fair ecosystem to do trades, swaps, interact with DeFi protocols, you can use an encrypted mempool where you encrypt your transaction, submit to it. Of course, you're gonna pay a higher fees for the service, but I think it's worth it. And then like once it's encrypted, we run our consensus and include like the transactions in the block. And the validators were not gonna know what they're including until it becomes final. So like this prevents some, let's say, collusion between bots and validators to front run and to get advantage on things. I think this is pretty big, and in best of my knowledge, I just can count in maybe in my fingers the projects out there that are going towards this anti-MEV resistance, because it's not a very easy problem to solve. We've been working for like a bit more than 1 year now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And like I said, I think it's fantastic, and I wish you guys all the best with that. There's one other project that I've heard they're doing something similar, and it's Bancor with their Carbon DeFi. They're providing some, so they're moving away from like market makers with Carbon DeFi, and they're doing more like actual sort of order book like transactions. And obviously that disincentivizes any MEV from taking place indirectly, which is another kind of way of doing that, I guess. But yeah, it's really fun to see it, and it's fantastic to see it. And I think the rest of this year and next year are going to be fantastic for crypto. And I'm really looking forward to see all of the new applications and the hackathon as well. I hope it goes swimmingly.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I think it's been a really fantastic conversation, and let's keep in touch. Maybe post the rollout. I would really like to see how that went and what you guys have installed next.
Cool.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank
we're
you.
gonna keep
Thank
in
you for
touch, and
having us. Yeah.
yeah. Thanks for having us, Andre. Thank you.
Nice one, guys. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Cheers.
You
Bye.
Take
too.
care. See you.
Yeah.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.